So welcome. I'm Sheriff Richard Fuller at Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office, and we're here to talk about a case that occurred 1 week ago today at 12:25 in the afternoon, and it happened in Oshimo Township at the 5034 West KL Avenue, and that is the Bronco Liquor Store at that corner of KL and Drake Roads. We're here to talk about this case because we want people to understand that we're seeing a number of shootings in the community. And what I want to point out is a few things about the significance of the time of day, the location, and where there are potential victims in line of this. But not only victims, but maybe witnesses. And so I want to talk about this a couple times. I'm asking for any possible victims that may have found evidence on their vehicle of a bullet mark, or had seen something, or had heard something at this location at this time, to help them know that you can come forward to the Sheriff's Office and we can work with you to help identify you either as a victim or make sure that if you're a witness, we can add you to the case information. The date was the 23rd, 1 week ago today. I gave you the location. What happened was the Sheriff's Office received information through 911 that there was a shooting in the parking lot of the Bronco Liquor Store. When deputies arrived, they found evidence of a shooting in the parking lot, talked with witnesses, and the witnesses described several subjects involved. They advised us that there was one victim and two suspects. The victim left in a suburban type vehicle, tan in color, and the suspects left in a black sedan that you'll see on the video. You'll see the sedan, you will not see the suburban. What we're hoping for is anybody that may have information, again, at this time, at this place, involving this incident, contact the Sheriff's Office. One suspect of the two suspects has been identified and arrested. I will talk more about that here in a minute. Inside the store, the information is that there was a verbal, I wouldn't even call it a confrontation at this point. It sounds like it was just a conversation between the victim and the suspects. Without being able to draw more out of that, I can tell you that it seemed less than what you would expect from the outcome of the case. When the suspects are seen following the victim out of the store, they wait until the victim goes to his vehicle, and then they choose to produce their firearms and shoot at the victim. And you'll see on the videos that we're going to show you that the victim has many other potential victims behind them traveling on Drake Road. All right, so Steve, if you could, Sergeant, if you could please show the first pictures. These are pictures from inside the store, where this is suspect number 2. This is the suspect we're still trying to identify. You can see the suspect number 2 is in the store, same time that the victim is in the store and the other suspect were inside the store. If you can show the other picture, please. This is the two suspects in the parking lot, displaying their weapons, and this is a point where they are shooting at the victim towards Drake Road. We will show you those videos here in a second. Another picture. Here's the picture when these two first come out of the store. It says suspect number 1 and suspect number 2 vehicle is being pointed at right there. That is the black sedan that we are talking about. We have identified the driver, owner, and that vehicle, and we have been able to talk to that person as a witness. Suspect number 1 is the suspect that is in custody, and suspect number 2 is the person we're trying to identify. Is there another picture, Sergeant? All right, and that's just the same picture showing the suspects standing there shooting their firearms. I have a video that we're going to show you. It's 2 different videos. The victim in this case has not come forward and has been blurred out in this because, again, they are a victim of a crime and we don't want to show their face. But we're hoping that anybody that sees this video If you are the victim of this crime and you want to talk to the sheriff's office, we would encourage you to contact us, and we'll give you more information in just a moment as to how to contact the sheriff's office. Sergeant, if you would want to go with the first video, that'd be great. If you watch here, this is just before it happens. You can see the door where the suspects will come out. The victim comes out first. This is the victim. His face is blurred. You can see he's got, looks like water in one hand. He's walking to his car. You can still see that they're talking a little bit back and forth. Suspect number one. You can see they're taking defensive, and now they're pulling their firearms and shooting. They retreat to their vehicle. Their vehicle leaves and ends up leaving westbound from the scene. The next video will show you another angle. In this angle, you'll be able to see where the victim is walking out of the store and goes. This is the mirror to his vehicle, and you can see where he just goes to his vehicle. They're still talking. Don't know exactly what the conversation is. He gets in his vehicle, and now the suspects. Look at all the traffic on Drake Road. Those bullets didn't stop at the edge of the parking lot. And that's why we're here to ask that if there is any victim out there that may have received damage to their vehicle, had seen something, had heard something, and they're a witness, that they contact the sheriff's office. Right now, the investigation continues. We want to do everything we can to identify people that would have been victims, and hopefully people can understand that in the middle of the day, in a parking lot next to a busy road, these things happen. And this is why we talk all the time about trying to remove as many guns from the streets as we can in law enforcement. This is why law enforcement has actually been involved in more pursuits with vehicles that have firearms in them, and we are working every day to keep not only the public safe, but our law enforcement professionals and anybody just going to a store as safe as possible. And that's why we wanted to show this today, to help people understand that there's likely more victims out here in this case, and we'd like to talk to you. I might be able to try and answer just a couple questions, but right now, because it's an ongoing investigation and the case it has some people we're still trying to identify, there's not a lot more I can tell you other than what I've already said here today.
Has the suspect that you said is in custody, have they been charged at this point?
So they have been charged with multiple felonies. They've been charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm. They've been charged with a felony firearm charge, a concealed weapons charge, as well as a reckless discharge of a firearm.
Has that person, have you had any previous run-ins with the law?
So one thing we generally don't talk about is any other history with the person, because we try not to color the case before it goes to a trial. And my importance of this conversation here today is to help identify witnesses and potential victims of this event.
And it looked, just seeing them enter the vehicle, getting into the passenger seat and the back seat, clearly there was someone else in the driver's seat. Are you looking for that person as well?
No, so I did mention that that person has been identified, that vehicle's been identified, we've been in contact with them, the vehicle, we've inspected everything, and ultimately that's not someone we're looking for, and we're not looking for that vehicle.
So you're saying that, is that the person, the driver, is the one that is in custody, or is that one of the two shooters?
No, so the driver is actually not involved with the shooting, other than being the driver of the vehicle. So I can't go into any detail as to what they may or may not have known prior to or after, because that's entirely up to the possible prosecutor's actions for that person.
There could be charges against that driver because he took people there that committed a crime, obviously. So could there be charges in the future?
So again, I won't talk about any possible charges for anybody other than the fact that we know that we had 2 shooters, and they're definitely the people that we are looking at and wanting to make sure that if anybody can help us identify the second shooter, we would be greatly appreciative of that information, and that's why we're here again today.
Have you had any other daytime shootings like this recently? Are you concerned about just kind of the brazen nature of this?
So we have shootings in Kalamazoo County, much like any county out there. You name the county in southwest Michigan right now, and we're seeing, because we are seeing a number of firearms. We are seeing a number of stolen firearms and traffic stops that we are finding, and they're happening at all times of day. And the brazenness of this over what appears to have been a simple, conversation, nothing that would lead itself to believe, anybody to believe that firearms would have been introduced, and definitely not only introduced but used towards a person that was just either in some sort of disagreement or had some sort of verbal contact with the suspects.
Did the round strike anything of significant value if they missed their target?
So right now, that's why we're talking, asking for anybody who may have damage to one of their vehicles. When you look at the video again, you'll have an opportunity, because we're giving you the video. You're going to see several vehicles traveling on Drake Road. And like I said, those rounds did not stop at the edge of that parking lot. They went somewhere.
And then because I know they looked like they were coming out of the same liquor store. So did you guys talk to any of the witnesses in the liquor store? Did they say that maybe they were arguing before then?
So we've been able to talk to any witness that we were able to identify that day. We've already talked to all those identified witnesses. And what they said or didn't say at that point is not something I can go into right now. And that's why we're talking, asking for any witnesses or any other potential victims in this case, come forward and let us know what you know, and help us with that part of the investigation. Because again, there is a second person out there who was willing to use a firearm in a parking lot in broad daylight, and there were people in harm's way, and we want to identify that person as soon as possible.
And then you said that there's been a lot of shootings that have been happening in Kalamazoo. You guys said that you're doing your part, but as far as the community, what can you recommend the community does to help out with stopping violence?
Yeah, so there are many people involved in this community. I tell people this all the time. I am the luckiest sheriff in the state of Michigan because I'm in Kalamazoo County. Other counties are great, but I'm telling you, here in Kalamazoo County, there are many different groups already working on the gun violence. The police agencies here in this community have many different programs that are working diligently trying to connect with our community to help our community know that we need to know when these things happen, because one thing we also know is there are several shootings that go unreported, or we find out because somebody sends a Ring video, or somebody says, I heard shots, several shots, but nobody else calls. And so we're doing everything we can in these community groups, involving the community, involving neighborhoods, involving churches, special groups that are designed to try and address this specific issue. If you want to get involved, please look for these groups. Please reach out to your local law enforcement agency and say, what is it you guys do that I can help you specifically with? And that's one of the best things we can do. So at this point, I'd like to end saying that I appreciate you guys coming here today. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to us, and hopefully anybody out there that has any information can contact the Sheriff's Office. And our non-emergency number is going to be provided here for everyone. And we hope that you can go to our website and contact us that way if you would like to give us information or ask us anything. Thank you very much.